Suing for vet bills. Defendant John Trumbull says the plaintiff's dog ran after his dogs first.
Miss Sands, is that how you pronounce it? You're claiming that Mr. Trumbull is responsible for an attack upon your pet that was carried out by his pair of pit bulls. Your dog lost the left front leg, and you want the money you spent out for veterinarian bills.
Yes, Judge O'Brien, that is correct.
All right, ma'am, you first.
Okay, back on December 1st, about 11:30 in the evening, my dog Millie here was let outside for the last time for the night by Chad, my witness.
Let's hear from that gentleman if he was outside with the animal, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
It was about 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock, and I let her out to go to the bathroom. I stood down the bottom of our stairs on our driveway. She walks across the driveway. There's a tree there on our property. She got startled by some noise, so she made a couple barks. And his dogs then grabbed her.
Dogs.
The pit bull, the biggest one, actually had her in his mouth and started to shake her. His other dog, Tori, tried to jump up and bite her, and, you know.
That's not true. Now, let him finish, and then I'll go to you.
You know, upon talking to him later, he had told me that he had said, you know what, I shouldn't have these guys out here this late at night, you know, not on a leash.
Well, all right, keep going. That's self-serving, but go ahead.
I had grabbed his dog and put him in a headlock, and then grabbed my dog and held her. So his dog couldn't shake my dog anymore, because that's how they kill them. They break their spine, or neck, you know. This dog had my dog locked in his jaw. She was dying. You know, I was just terrified.
Terrified? Why were you terrified?
I had just lost another Yorkie 2 weeks earlier.
Okay, but you didn't act like you were terrified.
No, I was trying to act. I was going after to try to save her, you know.
How you had her?
I had put his dog in a headlock.
You're doing what you needed to do.
Yes, to save her life. So basically, he finally came about 10 seconds later, and he had to choke his dog, literally twist her collar, twist the collar, choke his dog to have him release her.
All right, so you took the animal to the vet.
I scooped her up and ran up our
All right,
driveway.
eventually you got the animal to the vet. And
Yes.
You were advised that the animal might lose its leg, and you've given me copies of your veterinary report. Okay. Your turn, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Trumbull?
All right, Your Honor, I was walking my dog. It was in the middle of the night, and I do it in the middle of the night because then I make sure everybody's at home sleeping and nobody.
Why is that?
Just because, you know, they are pit bulls and whatever, and, you know, I just like to try to keep them out of
They
trouble.
are pit bulls. Now, you're saying this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm walking these dogs. Both of my dogs are out in front of his house.
In front of his house?
Both of them are in front of his house in the street. One of my dogs, Max, was in the neighbor's yard across the street. Tori was in the street. Okay.
They weren't on a leash.
No, I had him unleashed. I was letting him go out and letting him run for a little bit. Got up to his house, and I just said to myself, I said, well, I better take him back now. So I turned around. Just because you know, they're pit bulls. I mean, if another dog comes in encounter with them, you know what's going to happen. You know, it could be.
You knew that already.
I was out there, and I turned around, and I proceeded. I turned around and started walking back towards the house, and I started calling my dogs. And all of a sudden, I hear their dog coming out barking, straight out the door, barking straight down, right down into the street, right at my female pit bull. And
Their dog ran into the street
Yes, it
after
did.
your pit bull.
But if my pit bull was out to kill that dog would have been dead.
We'll be back with more Judge Joe Brown in a moment.
You already been put on notice by your conduct that your animals are a hazard.
My husband takes our dogs out at night so they can run.
So they can run.
Stretch their legs. Nobody else is out, and that's why he does that.
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The defendant in this case says he was walking his dogs without a leash late at night to avoid contact with other people or pets. He says the plaintiff's Yorkie came running up, barking at his dogs, and provoked the attack in question. Let's take a look.
Their dog was chasing the two pit bulls.
Their dog come running down, straight down the street, right into the street at Tori. And that's when Max seen that dog going at Tori, and Max grabbed it. And if my dog was such a vicious killer, or vicious
Man, it looks
dog,
like a really ferocious stealth dog.
well, he was. He came out barking at him.
No, you seem to have had these problems before.
I don't see this. Chad knows my dogs. He's been down there with my dogs a bunch of times. That's why he went running out and just grabbed a hold of Max when they were fighting. Because
You
he's
have
very familiar
psycho
with Max.
dogs.
His dog had one time broke through his privacy fence and ran straight across the street at this lady that lives across the street and attacked her dog.
Doesn't that suggest to you that you should take a bit more precaution than the average dog owner when taking your animals outside?
Yes, sir. I probably had my...
Well, you didn't, did you?
No, sir.
John, can I say
So,
something,
well,
please?
if you wish to, step right up. Ma'am, do you endorse this? We take them out at night because they're dangerous?
My husband takes our dogs out at night so they can run.
So they can run.
Stretch their legs. Nobody else is out. And that's why he does that. Or had done that.
That's just...
Why don't you take them to a dog park or out in the woods or construct a fence?
They had a fenced yard that they're in.
Well, why don't they stay in the fenced yard?
Because they can't
Because
run.
once in a
They
while,
can't run.
you probably know as well as I do that pit bulls don't carry a very good reputation. And for me to go out there and just let them run during the day and have
Why do you let them run? Keep them on a leash. You know, you're the one that has not one, but two of these psycho dogs. Restrain the animal. I mean, and by the way, we feed them kibbles and bits, so that means we're at the top of the food chain, not them. So we can do these things. Now, what we get is this animal, whether or not it was on a leash, was on its own property.
I didn't have to come. I was to my dog and his dog when they got into the fight about 2 seconds after Chad got there.
2 seconds.
I would go with
Well,
10.
excuse me, 2 seconds is enough for some stuff to go on.
Dog would have his jaw locked down already.
You already have been put on notice by your conduct that your animals are a hazard.
The thing is that this dog never been reported of attacking before, so this is
Well,
the first
the
attack.
defendant, no. Sir, you tell me that's why you went out at that time of night. That's sufficient. You should have been advised that you should have taken the extraordinary methods to secure these animals before they did what you were apprehensive that they might do.
Judge Joe Brown makes his ruling after this.
Bad boys, bad habits cost you money? Call 1-877-JOE'S-LAW or visit JudgeJoeBrown.com.
These aren't just bites. These are attacks causing death, or as they put it here, gross bodily harm. More than half, 58% of these are by pit bulls.
Your Honor, that's attacks caused by death. If my
Now,
dog was
look
gonna
at the
kill my dog-
ferocious beast over here to your immediate right. So our plaintiff's witness, who says he was in terror, did not act accordingly. He acted courageously and like an apex predator. Very good. Therefore, you'll collect up to your jurisdictional limit, which will be the $3,000 in your cost.
This courtroom is now in recess. Well, the defendant's wife actually backed up the idea that her pit bulls needed some time and some freedom to run around unrestrained in the middle of the night. That level of irresponsibility is just staggering, considering that her and her husband both admit that they know how dangerous the animals can be. They're going to have to pay. We'll be right back.
Next on Judge Joe Brown.